Well, friends, it is the 11th of January. Yeah, we got like a month and a half of winter left, at least calendar winter, and it's just non-stop snow. This is like the anti record. We've had 4 months, almost no sunshine. First rain, then snow. It actually even rained last night because the temperature got up to about -3, and it's cleaning snow again today. There's a layer of ice on top of that snow, thin layer, but it was there. Like, it's just freaking incredible. Anyways, we got a packed session today, so I guess we'll start. Where should we start with? How about these sociopaths that are the allies of the U.S. government? I guess that's the only way you call this. Um, the first runner-up here is a Polish MP by the name of Dominik Turczynski. I'm probably butchering his name. This guy, as you're now seeing right now, he writes, "Good job, ICE. Good job, ICE." Okay, good job, ICE. That's in the shooting of the American citizen, a lady by name of last name was Good. I can't remember her first name. Who was a widow with a 6-year-old, and now that 6-year-old is an orphan, whose grandfather's going to be raising him. His father died 3 days earlier. Again, now let's watch the video. This is the video that was taken by bystanders.
You! Shame! 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 Dude, what's happening to her? What happened? Dude. Okay. Dude, you shot her! I'm trying to help! No! No! You fucking shot someone in the fucking face! You shot someone in the fucking face! Do you have a conscience? Do you have a conscience? Don't let the murderer leave! Don't let the murderer leave! You guys are the fucking criminals! You don't get to tell us what to do! Fucking criminals! Don't let him leave! Don't let him leave!
Pussy motherfuckers, man!
No! Get the fuck out of our neighborhood!
So, what do we see here? We see the enforcement arm of the state. Okay, so police are supposed to police the public. Their number one point is to keep the peace and de-escalate. What do we see here? We see sheer escalation. The woman was not trying to run him down. That's obvious enough. And she was turning away from him. 3 shots, I believe it was, into the head. Execution. That's what you call that. That's an execution. The executioners came. They told her to get out of the car. The peasant disobeyed. They whacked her. They showed the other peasants what happens if you disobey the owners. They whacked her, and then they drove away. They didn't stay there. So get this crap. They didn't stay there to file a police report. They didn't stay there as witnesses. In fact, in a shooting like that, normally that gun would be confiscated as evidence. No tampering with the crime scene. Obviously, she's dead. She's got 3 bullets in her head, or her face. She ain't getting up. Unless, even if she's the Walking Dead, she ain't getting up from that. They just got in their car and just drove away. Welcome to the empire. Here's something, boys and girls, if you haven't friggin' realized this by now. What the empire does abroad, sooner than later, comes home. So the enforcement class got used to doing whatever it wanted to the peasants of other nations. Peasants, middle class, by that point, I mean just anybody that's occupied. I'm not doing this particular social rhetoric. I'm not a Marxist. But the owner class here is the transnational billionaires. They don't particularly represent any particular level other than that 0.1% or less of American society and European society. But they sure as hell own a lot of the peasants, one way or the other. They work directly for them, or they own their mortgages, or they own their lives, basically. And they've got them so brainwashed, these idiots actually think that they're freemen. Freemen don't tolerate what you just saw. They don't tolerate the state's enforcers coming in there and executing them in broad daylight in front of everybody. Other than that, I don't know what to call that. So anyways, what we got next? Trump had a meeting. Trump had a meeting. And apparently, Putin fears Trump. He doesn't fear Europe. Well, Russia doesn't fear Europe. It doesn't particularly fear the U.S. either. But apparently, in Trump's mind, everybody fears the God Emperor of humanity. That's right. And the God Emperor of humanity was asked by a Fox pocket monkey reporter, walking urinal. The Freedom President called Zelensky, who was just a little expired, about 2 years past his expiration date, has requested for you to kidnap the dictator, the elected one that's actually in his term and by constitutional right elected with popular support, Vladimir Vladimirovich. Will you kidnap him? Trump said, well, we have a good relationship, but he's getting on my nerves. But I don't think I need to. Because, it probably would cause World War III and probably would wipe America and you pocket monkey idiots off the face of the earth. The level of stupidity in the American and Western press is only suppressed by the level of stupidity in the politicians. What do I mean by that? Well, first of all, let's begin with all the array of these moronic pseudo-humans called the American Congress. Yeah, there's no rule of law. It's the jungle. We're the lion.
Proud of what the president did, and Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth and everybody, our military, Maria Corina Machado, and what they did in Venezuela is going to change Latin America. This is the start of changing Venezuela. Then we're going to fix Cuba. Nicaragua will get fixed. Next year we'll get a new president in Colombia. We're going to start, the democracy is coming back to this hemisphere. So the president...
And then jungle. First of all, by the way, lions don't live in jungles. Just in case you missed, biology class, slept through it, or, you can barely read and write, so you go, what the hell? Lions live in savannas, mountains, but they don't really live in jungles. And the king of the jungle isn't a lion. It's the guy with the long spear that hunts the lion. And you're going to get that long spear up your arse sooner than you think. Because the U.S., as a nation that lives and dies by seaborne trade, I mean, let's understand this. The U.S. can't feed itself. For all you people that still thinks the U.S. can feed itself, you're moronic because you're not paying attention to reality. The U.S. imports 40% of its food. 40%. It is so categorically centered on exporting commodities like soybean and corn, well past what can be consumed inside the U.S., to China and other places. This is why Trump was getting on India and wound up destroying whatever relationship he had with Modi, trying to force Modi to sabotage his own farmers to buy up American corn and soybeans. And Indians don't particularly eat that much soybeans. That's more East Asian, but not that Trump would know any difference or anybody else over there. Yeah, yeah, they would. There are 50, 55 farm families a day in the U.S. going out of business. I mean, the U.S. can't feed itself. This just, I mean, during the summer, the U.S. was importing eggs from Russia. Yeah, it was about $500,000 worth of eggs per month, but yeah, the U.S. was importing eggs, chicken eggs from Russia, not some delicatessen egg, like fish eggs, otherwise known as caviar. No, we're talking chicken eggs. Yeah, because U.S. can't feed itself. That's the reality of it. U.S. lives and dies by international trade, seaborne international trade. So, bright lights of the U.S. Congress. I mean, if you want to run for Congress, this is why, by the way, all republics fail. And the U.S. has passed republic stage, anyways, as far as I can tell. But the reason all republics fail is because, like it or not, but in a popular election, gold sinks, shit rises, and floats at the top. So when they say, oh, in this kind of system, the best always rise to the top, no, the shit rises to the top. That's just how it is. And you see the people sitting at the top. And this isn't the first generation of them like that. It's just been getting accumulating more and more until the sanitation systems are all clogged up and there's nothing good going through anymore. The good people, like, say, Marjorie Taylor Greene, get forced out. They don't survive in a system that's built on nothing but stupidity, graft, and inbreeding. These people are moronic past moronic. So, yeah, let's say there is no more rule of law anywhere. Because we're the big guys. We never wore a uniform for the most part. We don't know anything about the military other than whatever we read in a brochure of a hoorah, hoorah. And the kickbacks we got from the military-industrial complex, which, by the way, is not going to have 1.5 trillion in spend. Well, reality it's a hell of a lot more. Because, again, Department of Veteran Affairs, that's normally counted in any other nation as part of the defense budget or offense budget for America. And there will be supplemental spending out the Yahoo. We're getting to that part, too. So we've got this idiot. I mean, the whole line of idiots. It's not just Lindsey Graham. There's just one after the other. These absolute moronic Congress critters coming up with this. Well, let's think of what you just said. Big boys. Oh, by the way, it took them 4 or 5 days to catch an empty tanker, an empty, pretty old tanker running at full speed across the Atlantic. Yeah, how powerful are you? Half the aircraft carriers are in dry dock because they're so worn out and the repairs are taking forever. Because, you can't manufacture parts enough anymore. Especially considering how much of your parts and your, I'm sorry, rare earth that you just got smacked by China upside the head with, the rare earth processed materials, not just rare earth raw material, which the U.S. can barely process any of. But the Trump did get one magnet that was processed in the U.S. So it's like be quite interesting how much that one magnet cost. Yeah, but You're going to have to defend every American ship around the entire world because you just put a bullseye on every single American ship. It's open season. Underwear gnomes in the U.S. Congress. That's what I'm going to call these politicians now. I remember that from South Park. I like that term I used the last couple times. I did it from now on. The underwear gnomes and the pocket monkey press. Yeah, I think that goes well together. The underwear gnomes and the pocket monkey press. They fit. They fit this the Western myth that isn't reality. So everybody who wants to take a pot shot, I mean, you could take your flag down off your destroyer or your cruiser and just go board a few American ships. Why not? Uncle Sam now gets to run around all over the world trying to protect American freight ships from getting plundered. And why not? Because they are the number one plunder country in the world. Everybody can now plunder American ships. Hey, you set the standard. There is no law. It's the law of the jungle, baby. You better start recruiting a hell of a lot more American military, or at least mercs, to be on every single one of the ships. Well, that's exactly what Russia's going to be doing now. There's going to be Marines with small arms and man pads on those ships, and there's going to be frigate and destroyer escorts. And next time, you might get a shooting war with Russia or China. And China, by the way, if anybody missed that, for the seizure of its tanker actually was full of oil that it had already paid for. That America stole flat out because, thieves are thieves. China just smacked 20 American companies down with all the defense companies, by the way, with a ban on rare earths. The one that Bessett had negotiated a year, but he was going to do the super speed of creation of industry. Bessett is a moron. Outside of being the highest placed homosexual ever in the U.S. government, what else does qualify him for this job? If that, by the way, qualifies you for that job. Because, the man is a moron. And watching him talk, you said, Jesus Christ, did you ever pass freshman economics? Do you have any idea how industry works? Because he doesn't. And his 1 year is just going to be a whirlwind. We're going to shut up industry. Yeah, by the way, 50% illiteracy rate basically in the U.S. or semi-literate, fully literate, 53 if we want to be totally accurate. Who the hell's going to work in those high-tech industries? Never mind the equipment and everything else. I'm not even going to get into supply chains. These guys are morons. They're just friggin' morons. It's just an accumulation of inbred morons that just go in this revolving door between A, the government, or B, the companies that service the government, or service service to politicians to get the contracts. Because most of these companies could never survive if they actually had to be competitive. And it's just rotating door of these people. And it's an amazing thing to watch. The problem is, as they rotate and rotate, they don't get smarter. They don't. They pretty much so, I think they just degrade and degenerate. And speaking of degrading and degenerating, so Trump's going to be meeting Zelensky in Davis. And as part of America First, well, at least that's the word on the street from the Europeans, as part of America First, Trump is going to be giving a nice thick gift to Zelensky for the next 10 years. There's America First. 80 billion with a B, dollar investment to rebuild Ukraine for the next 10 years. So $800 billion from the most broke ass country in the world. The only country by percentage that's, I think, more broke out of any major countries than the U.S. is Japan. But at least in Japan, almost all the debt's held by the Japanese. So where are they going to go? They're pretty much a captured audience. That's still beginning to dump the debts. It's getting harder and harder. Japan's like a 228% debt to GDP. The U.S. is about 140% and growing fast because the U.S. can't service its own debt. It's sucking up so much of its income. Basically, the U.S. is like one of those credit card addicts. You go buy a bunch of credit cards and you move the debt from credit card to credit card, but you're still spending too. So you fill out one credit card, you fill out another credit card, you got to get more credit cards to try to throw the debt from that side to that side, plus the fees and blah, 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 blah. And poof, sooner or later, nobody gives you credit anymore. It's the same thing with the U.S. So yeah, and while we're talking about 800 billion for Ukraine, and Trump had this gem. Trump had this just super jam. Um, we are not talking about buying Greenland. Uh, we are going to take Greenland because if we don't take Greenland, well, China or Russia are going to take Greenland. Just any day, our Russian armada is going to come in there and they're going to take Greenland. And behind them, the Chinese are going to come from the other side. Yeah, that's it. Because they need Greenland. That's why we need Greenland. So China and Russia don't take Greenland. Yeah, you Euros. Smack, smack, smack to the strumpets, to the Euro strumpets. Oh, the Euro strumpets, by the way, are panicking. Oh, because, by the way, he doesn't want China and Russia as neighbors. Yeah. Looked at a map lately, Mr. Trump? I mean, I know you're not the brightest star in the sky. In fact, you're like a black hole half the time, or at least a brown dwarf. Um, Definitely not a quasar. Yeah, you're 80 miles, so about 120 kilometers away from Russia, mainland to mainland. Not neighbors, but in Greenland they'll be neighbors. And the Euro strumpets. Watching these Euro whores freak it is worth every bit of whatever resources that the Americans are going to extract and the rape and pillage of the local population of Greenland's going to get, because this is just hilarious. Sorry, but it is hilarious. Watching these underwear gnomes, otherwise known as Trump, as the American whorehouse in Europe, freak out. Yeah, okay, how could you do? Denmark, first of all, Denmark, the whore of whores. I mean, come on. These are the guys that ran ahead of everybody to recognize the KLA, the Kosovo Liberation Army, an Islamic jihadist organization, as it was raping its way through the Serbian population in Kosovo, and is still, by the way, purging out in northeastern Kosovo the Serbian population, as NATO bombed the Serbs left and right, and raped and pillaged their land and took away Kosovo and made it a independent state, with Denmark being one of the first, if not the first country to recognize that independence. Boy, did karma just come back and bite you in the, yeah, didn't think that was coming, did you? Whoa, but that was different. Oh yeah, every one of them's different. No, the circumstance is a little different, but you set the precedent. You dummies set the precedent. So enjoy the rape that you're getting now from the U.S. It's gonna take Greenland. There ain't much to take. Oh, but Germany sent 2 warships over there, basically destroyers, to guard the Germany. Germany sent 2 warships to guard against the Americans. I mean, you can't make this up. The Germans are coming to guard against the occupied Germany that has like 50 or 70,000 American military in general still left on its territory. The one that allowed the U.S. to blow up Nord Stream, strangle it economically and energy-wise, is going to go what? Fight the Americans? With what? Tomorrow the U.S. says it's over, no more LNG for Germany, and Germany dies. Worse than it's dying right now. Because Schultz did, I'm sure Schultz, Merz in this case, what's the difference really? One wet wiener or another. Merz had to admit that, yeah, not everything is as good as we thought. No, there are critical sections in the economy. One of the underwear gnomes states puts on a mask and a cape and becomes Captain Obvious. That's something that everybody in the world has seen, but I guess he's finally had to face a little bit of reality. Dude, your economy is collapsing. It's collapsing faster. Oh, I don't know. I can't even think of what to compare it with. It's beyond reality of these people. Germany, pure pride and joy right there. You're the, you helped elect them. You're the other 73% of the population that didn't vote AFD. You voted for him, and you voted for the war that's going to kill off your sons and daughters. But don't worry, your replacements already live there. They're not going to be doing the fighting. That's the best part. But they'll be taking care of your daughters and your wives. No, the ones that aren't fighting on the front and getting killed also. They'll be taken care of and make sure that Germany repopulates very, very quickly. So quickly you'd be surprised. I mean, they're there for you. They're there for you, Germany. They're going to make Germany a whole new reality. While your boys and girls there are dying off on the Russian front so that Merz doesn't have to face his reality. I mean, you voted for this. You're the morons that voted for this. Because the people that are screaming, we want peace, we want trade, we want sane energy, oh, those are the Nazis. Mm-hmm. And then you expect anybody with half a brain to look at you and go, whoa, you're intelligent. Geez, you're not a genetic dead end. Too much inbreeding in Deutschland, at least in Western Deutschland. I don't know what else to call it at that point, or just a death wish for a societal death wish. But I guess it could be that too. I mean, some societies just want to die. Societies are like any other creature. I mean, they're like an animal, and sooner or later, animals, they feel they're just too old and they don't want to be around anymore. Societies do the same thing. They just commit societal suicide. I mean, you look at all of Europe, outside of Russia, outside of Belarus, outside of actually Poland and Hungary, and the former, Hungary and the former uh, Hungarian, Austro-Hungarian Empire. Well, Austria's still kind of on there, but they keep voting further and further into uh, patriotic or nationalistic organizations away from national suicide. But the rest of Europe is just fine for going extinct. They enjoy it. I mean, they do that by voting every damn time for it. They do get the government they deserve. So, yeah. So there you go. I mean, come on. Who are we kidding? I mean, Germany's going to take on the U.S. Right. Right. Germany doesn't have the balls to take on a mouse or a rat. It can't handle its own country. Its women are afraid to go outside. Maybe they're not dressing up in hijabs just yet, but they're covering themselves in sweatshirts and as much loose clothing as they can so they don't attract. So basically it's the same thing, just a European style version of a hijab and burqa. Well, they haven't closed up their faces yet, but that's coming next. Don't worry. That way they don't get raped because their men are spineless, ballless, waste of sperm wonders that can't defend their own children and can't defend their own women. You don't deserve to exist as a society if you can't do that. That's the very minimum for any society to do anything. I mean, seriously, if you can't defend your own women and children, just go extinct. You deserve it. You're not men. You're slugs and pond scum at that point. And your ancestors are probably spitting at themselves for ever having birthed you. Sorry if I'm being harsh. If the crap that happened in Cologne happened in any Russian city, there'd be corpses hanging from every tree. And by the way, if it happened, the same thing, whether it happened in Orthodox areas of Russia, Buddhist areas of Russia, or Muslim areas of Russia. Those 6% Muslims aren't going to tolerate those other Muslims coming in there from foreign countries and raping their women. They'll butcher every last one of them. And the same thing with the Russians, Orthodox Russians. Where, by the way, by last count, it's like 82% of the population self-identified as Orthodox. Granted, most of them are at best go to church, unfortunate to say, at best go to church once, twice a year. About 23-24% go on a regular basis. But it's improving. It's actually up, and it's growing. But if we take the standard, that same standard, I mean, all these, quote, Christian countries are far from being Christian. A lot of Muslim countries are far from being Muslim. If we have to go that you go at least once a week. Unfortunately, for the Christian countries at this point. So, where are we at? Oh, yeah, Maloney. the underwear gnome known as Maloney, while busy flooding Italy again with migrants from the third world, because there aren't enough of them there already. They don't work. They don't well, they do interact. They commit crimes. They commit rapes. And they have a lot of kids to sit on the welfare system. But it's Italian fault, and it's not just Maloney. I'll flat out say this. I used to work for an Italian company, Tecnomont Rus, and I'm sitting there. I was director of supply chain on the construction projects. So there's the director of the project and the director of myself, and the next level is director of supply chain for the project. And then there's a director of supply chain separately, and I paid to borrow his people to use my people on the projects for supply chain internal. But anyways, so we're sitting there in Moscow City eating lunch. And it's almost all Italians in the management. So myself as a Russian, the HR manager is a Russian, the IT director, the IT director is Polish, who badmouthed Russia nonstop, who's, by the way, now a Russian citizen. People said, why don't you just go friggin' back to Poland or back wherever else to the EU since you love it so much. He's a Russian citizen living in Russia now, full-time with his Russian wife and kid. Hypocrisy, baby. And there was a one French guy too. So other than that, everybody's Italian. And we're sitting there eating lunch, and they're complaining about these migrants. And I'd spent in the 2.5 years I worked there, I spent about 3.5 months in Milan, in like 2-week, 3-week intervals. And everything they said is true. The crime is through the roof. Migrants are all over the place. They don't speak Italian. They're English or French speakers. It's just a mess. Literally, it's a mess. The Italians will literally put up signs, watch your step, because their dogs shite on the sidewalk. They can't even get their dogs on the grass next door to shit there. And they definitely don't pick up after themselves. But they will put signs up, watch your step, so you don't step into their dog shit pile. And this is in the city. This isn't some suburb. This is in the city. Anyways, so he's just complaining about it. I'm like, guys, well, the answer is pretty simple. Stop feeding them. Stop giving them pocket money. Stop paying for their free apartments. Force them to learn Italian and get a job. The majority will immigrate out, self-deport. And those that are left are the people you want to keep, because those are the workers, the hard workers, or intelligent enough to be workers and integrate into your society. And they look at me like, I've got a third eye growing out of my forehead. Actually, in the military, you'd call it quite something different. A schlong hanging out, growing out of my forehead. That's how in the military, just a little cruder than that. But they look at me like I'm some lunar idiot that just fell out of the sky. Like, Stas, that's not humane. Okay, don't be humane. If you're that stupid, be humane by all way means. Why are you complaining? You're humanists. Humanity. That humanity that you're complaining about but won't do anything to get rid of is raping and pillaging your humanity, that is your actual Italians. Your actual legal citizens. And what can you say? It's not humane. It's not humane. I'm just not a humane type of guy, I guess. That's just how it is. Bad on me. It is. It's obviously bad on me. Yeah, I know. You're all talking about Stas. You're just Stas. So anyways, the El Jelani groupie, otherwise known as the underwear gnome Maloney, she's come out and said, I back Macron. We need to talk to the Russians. We need to talk to Putin. Well, we need to talk to them because the U.S. is going to kick our asses all over the place. Well, we need Russia to die for us and spend money on us. The people that we've been condemning for the last 40 years, sending money and mercs to murder them and doing everything we can to kill them off and destroy their economy because that's, we're self-righteous superhumans living in our garden as opposed to their jungle. Well, enjoy your garden because nobody in Russia gives a damn about you or the rest of Europe. We're not going to invade you, but there's nothing there we want. Never mind, you're not us. We don't want that foreign land. We're fighting for our own historical land, and that's it. And we're not going to invade the Poles either. We don't give a damn about them either. If they tomorrow starve and die off, screw them. If they get fabulously rich, screw them. We just don't give a damn. Europe is done. So you people turn around. And what makes it even worse is these underwear gnomes. They don't even have the tad bit of humanity to go, or humility, I'm sorry. In this case, humility. To go, oh, I'm sorry. We were wrong. Or let us apologize. No, you friggin' half barbarian, half snow apes over there called Russians. Well, we're looking at you and saying hi. And you should come over here like a little puppy so we can pat you on the head and shove you off to go die for us against the Americans. Because, you're not really human beings. You're too dumb and too dim-witted to understand that we're just going to use you. Okay. And, yeah, these people actually think this way. They are that freaking out of touch with reality. So no, America, don't worry. Russia ain't gonna fight you for Greenland. We don't give a damn. And when you take Iceland next, for that aluminum and for those rare earth elements and that huge amount of free energy, we ain't gonna fight you over that either. So, sorry, Europe. Or not Europe, we're a third of Europe. The other 2/3 of Europe, you dug your grave, go lay in it. The Americans will definitely just do a drop kick on your arse to send you in there. If they're not too busy running around the world trying to protect their commercial fleets from getting raped and pillaged because they're too stupid to realize without the rule of law, they go bankrupt. And they can't feed themselves. These are the same people who are screaming that, oh, we're going to take on, Mexico's next. Mexico. Colombia, also Colombia. Cuba, oh yeah, we're going to invade Cuba because beef pigs wasn't enough. Oh, jeez, these people are morons. But hey, oh yeah, that's right, you already own Venezuela. Yeah, well, okay, we'll live and see. We'll live and see. Okay, so what should we go under now? Ronald Lauder. Just a quick word on him. So he gets the lithium deal from the Ukrainians. Just to understand all these fields, it's like they're reselling it a third, fourth, fifth time. They're like reselling the Brooklyn Bridge at this point. Because first of all, most of the lithium is now in Russian hands. So you can go bugger off whatever you signed with Zelensky. Though I think he'll try to sue or something like that and try to get rights. Americans will actually do something that stupid. They'll go, all American oligarchs there, they'll go, oh yeah, well, I don't care, I signed with him. You owe me. Yeah, okay there, buddy. Come take it. How many divisions do you have? Not enough. And like I said, never mind the Ukrainians have resold these fields. Most of them aren't proven. And whatever's in there, they've resold it so many times. You're going to have litigation out of litigation if any of those fields are left in quote Ukrainian hands or behind their border. Because all the previous owners are going to be suing you. But enjoy. These people, they don't really understand what they're dealing with. So enjoy. So what else do we got? Look at these faces. Look at these faces. So these are the American puppets who are trying to start revolutions all over the world. We have Reza Pahlavi. By the way, at the end of this, you're gonna watch him kissing the Wailing Wall. Right there. There's Reza Pahlavi kissing the Wailing Wall. Because, if you ain't bend the knee to Jerusalem, in this case, to the powers that be, Netanyahu, you ain't getting endorsements to ever come back into power. and he's trying to come back into power in Iran. Because he's calling, just like the rest of these guys, there he's calling on his psychopaths there to butcher and maim and burn so he can come back to power, which he's never been in power. His father was in power. This guy's never been in power. He's lived off whatever money his father put aside, and the fact the Americans have kept him fed around because they may need him sometime to bring democracy to Iran, via the Shah. And while I'm a monarchist, this guy would make the worst probably shit monarch you can imagine, because this guy is totally sold out. Monarchy is about national ownership on of property rights and things like that. This guy has already promised everything that Iran ever had, ever had, has, and will ever have to his American and Israeli owners. Let's not kid ourselves. Then we have Machada, then Guaido, then Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, that's from Belarus. And by the way, at least she doesn't look insane. Have you ever seen her husband, whose place she took because he was arrested for trying to start a revolution? Lukashenko let him out. And there's a reason he let him out. I mean, this guy is certifiably insane, and he is an idiot. And if you ever listen to him talk, or he actually shows that he spends his backers, right, these morons that are sending him money and donations. He shows what he's spending their money on: flying lessons, partying around. I mean, these guys, and you listen to him talk. I mean, he's just certifiably insane. So the mouth was the best weapon you could do. It's like, here, have a live atomic bomb that's gonna blow up in your face continuously. And then you have Navalny. After the woman that was smiling the day her husband died, because she now ran his organization, his CIA-fronted organization. I mean, she and her boyfriend, while Navalny was sitting in prison, which he more than deserved, because never mind, he was a former government official who stole a forest, basically signed off a forest park, huge area, to a local businessman to log. Him and his brother, by the way. His brother's sitting in jail and been sitting in jail for quite a while. Navalny was getting all kinds of passes. And finally kept abusing his paroles and everything else. Finally got sat down. But his heart attack, probably those 5 or 6 extra boosters his wife put in him after he was, quote, poisoned probably by one of his own people. And rushed to Germany. They boosted the crap out of him with the jabs. And amazingly, he had a heart attack. Wow, that you can't see that one coming. Oh no, Pfizer isn't. It's hard medicine, man. The jab, the jab. Have another jab. I'm pretty sure that most of the people are criticizing and running around, following the pocket monkey press in the West. They're all jabbed all the way up, maximum jab. And then Nathaniel Law, the one that basically took Hong Kong and turned it into a sub-economic zone. Yeah. So now think about it this way. Look at these pictures. Do these people not look like villains off of The Lord of the Rings? I mean, Guaido looks like an orc right off the bat. I mean, Sauron, the white, there's Navalny. I mean, just look at these. And you guess which one's Gollum? Leave in your comments which one is Gollum. I mean, I know which one looks like Gollum. But I mean, these guys look like the Lord of the Rings villains. This is the hilarious part. And one last clown world. I ran across this the other day. Tell me how well this aged. So we've got Hodges, that brain trust of American military genius, modern American military genius. Russia lacks the manpower and ammunition. Will cease its war in 10 days. Dated 15th of March, 2022. But the fact is, this idiot, well, what do you say to the people that actually listen and believe to him? believe him because he's continuing to say stupid things on a daily basis. God, they were trying to get me on to debate him. I'm like, yeah, please. Unfortunately, no. Danny Davis took him down, but he was soft with him. I would never have been that soft with this guy. Um, he was way too soft with him. There's actually other people that have tried to get to debate with him, but I think he backs the hell out. He got smacked around by Davis, and Davis was very smart. I mean, very, very soft with him, smacking him around. I don't think most anybody else would be. I mean, I'd love to get a chance to go at Hodges. This guy is a moron of morons. He is a moron of the 99th level, the black super belt triple diamond of morons. And he was a three-star general. For God's sakes, this guy was a three-star general. I mean, what can you say about the generalhood of America? Oh, I know what you can say about the generals of America and England. The generals of England, Snake Island. How many hundreds of special forces did Ukraine lose in all those little operations to take a piece of land that nobody needs to? And it didn't even take the piece of land. It just got artillery that fired far enough to cover that island. Russia just removed itself. And they can't get on that island because they'll get whacked by the Russian military. So how many hundreds of special forces they lost? That was English. And American, oh, let's see. Where did the American generals let themselves shine? The rows of corpses in the 2023 great counterattack that was marketed for months on end and actually happened to be exactly what they said they would be. Amazingly, Russia was prepared. Oh, that's right. The Russians weren't playing fair because they were shooting from concealed positions and prepared positions and behind shrubbery. You shall take a shrubbery, then take this fish and cut down the biggest tree in the trees in the forest. Shrubbery, plant shrubbery. Yeah, that's it. The Russian military is flying from shrubbery. It's been a while since I watched Monty Python's Quest for Glory. Some of my quotations have gotten a little degraded. You have to go watch it again. It's been a few years. My wife, she tried to watch it. She's like, no. Tried twice to watch it, but she couldn't handle it. That's just not her cup of tea, or it's not even her tea. It's not even tea for her at all. And what else? Oh yeah, that's right, Kursk. There's another one. There's another great American invasion of Russia, Kursk. Another 80,000 corpses of Ukrainians and Western mercs, and about 3,000 pieces of equipment burning, Western equipment. Gee, I wonder what happened to Ukraine's tank armies. Yeah, bloody hell. But yeah, Ukraine's is winning. They're constantly winning. They just keep advancing in the wrong direction and leaving dozens and hundreds and thousands of their corpses behind, and Western corpses too. Hey, it is what it is, boys and girls. It is what it is. But the underwear gnomes, they're going to get rich. Their plan is actually going to work. They are going to get rich. You are just going to have to pay for it. If you like what you hear, and you want to support this channel, by all means, I'll be more than happy to say thank you. Or if you just sign up, put the like, spread the word. Let's get together and make this grow. So anyways, enough. I won't bore you anymore or entertain you anymore because it's been an hour almost. And you probably are tired of hearing my voice. So till next time, God bless.